the speaker coming from India, okay, which is a big populated area in the whole world, okay. Uh, Please let's welcome Coach Partha Pratim, okay. Coach, the floor is yours.
Hi,
My
hello
co-host
everyone.
is Coach Mark of USA. He had been facilitating all of this, okay, for the UCSSC.
So I'll start with what we are going to discuss today, and I've been requested by Coach Dennis and of course Coach Mark about 400 IM and sprint work. These two sounds totally different, and of course they are of different segment. I think different pole of swimming arena or swimming coaching arena, and it'll be fun to discuss about this. Regarding myself, as Coach Dennis already told you, I'm the head coach for our program director for National Center of Excellence, which is jointly ventured by Glenmark Aquatic Foundation and Sports Authority of India. I'm leading this program from the year 2016. We have produced at least, if not less, at least I would say 300 international medal of different kind, more than um, 45 national records. In fact, recently, just a week back, we went to Dubai. We created three or four best Indian swimming timing, best ever swimming performance in short course. Our swimmers have been to World Championship, Asian Games, and many other uh, disciplines. The good part in the program is we have produced some of the top swimmers in sprinting, some of the top swimmers in mid distance, some of the top swimmers in distance for the country and for representing the nation in different part. If you guys remember last time when we had our Asian Championship or Asian age group in Philippines, some of our swimmers or one of my girl got the gold in one backstroke for the nation, for India. So coming back to the discussion about 400 iron, I'll be privileged to share that yes, we have produced some of the top 400 IM swimmers from the age group level. When we talk about 400 IM, there is certain strategy what we need to incorporate. But before we discuss about 400 IM strategies, let us see the best swimming races and the split in 400 IM. So, Mark, can you put the next slide, please? Beautiful. Thank you so much. 400 IM, so-called one of the most difficult swimming. I would say on a different way that 400 IM is one of the most strategic swimming event. If your strategy, your plan, and execution is proper, you're going to outperform. If your strategy, plan, and execution is not correct, you're going to underperform. Let us see two of the finest 400 IM swimmer of the world ever produced, Michael Phelps and Leon Marchand. If you look at the split, butterfly 54.6, 54.9. Now, interestingly, personal best of Michael Phelps is about 49 in 100 fly, where personal best of Leon Marchand is probably 51, 52, which is far off from Michael Phelps. Then backstroke, if you look at them, the first part of this race, both of these swimmers are very equal, 54, 101, and that's the strategy for 400 IM. When you swim 400 IM, you don't think about the stroke only. You may have a strong stroke, you may have a weak stroke. That doesn't mean that you're going to lose your strategy of putting effort. So effort, we are going to discuss about the effort later. But then you see the thing change once you come to breaststroke or freestyle. As you can see, Leonard was much faster in breaststroke, 107 compared to 110 of Michael Phelps, while Phelps was solid in freestyle, 56 compared to Leon Marchand, 58. They are the two outstanding races. The thing what you can learn from this, in both these races, if you look at it, till backstroke, both the swimmers managed to hold their energy level. All right, they didn't go all out. They can go much faster in butterfly. They didn't go faster. They can go much stronger in backstroke. Yes, they did decent backstroke, but they didn't go very strong in backstroke. They started their game rolling from breaststroke onward, and they given whatever they have left in freestyle. So strategy is something we need to understand for 400 IM first. We'll point out the strategy what we need to incorporate to develop 400 IM.
The others are trying to reserve energy on the IM.
Hmm.
So normally they think about sacrifice the first 50 to get
Hmm.
the 350 going better. Okay,
Hmm.
the normal
Hmm.
strategy of
Hmm.
the 400s.
Absolutely
Well,
correct.
yeah, but others are thinking about the momentum, but others are thinking about the stroke count. Uh,
Hmm.
what do you think? They just go with the trend like that? Like you're trying to compare the two top swimmers of Coach Bob Bowman. What do you think? Uh,
I
that's
think the
20.
strategy
That's
wise,
the 54. He is 51. 50, 51 on the 100 fly. So
hmm,
basically, it's a pace.
hmm,
Still a pace.
yes. So the major thing, as you rightly said, the major thing in 400 IM, because remember, what is the difference between 400 freestyle or 1500 freestyle? They said 1500 freestyle is easier to swim compared to 400 IM, or sometimes 200 butterfly is easier to swim compared to 400 IM. The reason of this, and this is important for upcoming coaches to understand. Here, you switch the sequence of muscles. You use all the muscle more or less in swimming, but you switch the sequence of muscle. Whenever you do IM event, you don't repeat the same movement on a constant basis. You vary your gears because from switching from butterfly to backstroke, you vary your gears. Though the muscle segments are similar, but the pressure on certain areas are different. Movement pattern is slightly different. So you switch. So if this is your normal train of movement, you can survive for longer. Always remember this. Any movement which is constant and you're doing the same movement, you can survive for longer. Open water swimmers, an amazing example of that. They maintain very high stroke rate and they can survive for longer because they're doing same movement at a lower intensity level. But when you switch the movement and change the movement, there's always a possibility. Suppose you're doing this movement and suddenly you're changing this movement, and again you're doing that movement, and again you're doing this movement. So whenever there's a switch of movement, the production or the load or muscular load gets higher. It's not like I'm switching the muscles, so probably my other muscle is going to get more rest. It doesn't work like that way. Human body doesn't function like that way. In an intense condition, it's a high challenging environment. Your body, whenever you switch stroke, tend to produce more lactate, right? And it has been tested. So your body, in this kind of scenario, where your body needs a good strategy. Why it needs a good strategy? So that you don't get fatigue. How you determine fatigue? You determine fatigue by a product of in your blood, which is called lactic acid. And how you develop lactic acid? When you go towards anaerobic zone of swimming rather than staying in the threshold level of aerobic. Threshold level of aerobic is basically the threshold level of aerobic and anaerobic, which can you can hold it for longer duration. The moment you go above that level, or the moment VO2 max usage of yours is under, you may fail. Now, that's very, very important for people to understand. So, what we need to do to develop 400 iron? The strategy number one is to develop your aerobic capacity. Aerobic capacity, because as long you're on aerobic, you'll be wonderful. Look at Michael Phelps. Think about his 200 butterfly. Probably in many races, till third 50, he's probably fifth or sixth. He managed to outperform in the last 50 because he want to stay in aerobic or threshold zone or maybe slightly into anaerobic zone till third 50 and then whatever he left, he blasts that off in the last 50. So it's very strategical. So for 400 IM, you need to ensure that you can hold higher amount of speed at aerobic level. Once again, higher amount of speed at aerobic level or higher amount of speed at VO2 max level. What is VO2 max? Volume of oxygen. Maximum volume of oxygen your body can use during any activity is basically VO2 max. And to develop that, you need to improve your aerobic capacity. This includes your cardiovascular distribution, your mitochondria density, and all the other activities which ensure that aerobic sustainability at a challenging situation is longer for you. In later, we are going to discuss some of the example of practice, which is going to give you an idea about the aerobic capacity. But in a simple term, in a very simple term, what you need to do is basically low intensity swimming for a longer duration, short interval. You don't let your heart rate go too high, but that doesn't mean you're going to do very low heart rate swimming. Generally, what I do, I prefer my swimmer to swim at a heart rate of 22 to 24, which is like on 10 seconds. So we generally check heart rate for 10 seconds. We ask the swimmer to swim at heart rate of 22 to 24, say for a larger amount of distance, and preferably in long axis stroke, which is freestyle and backstroke. Then why I don't do a lot of aerobic work on breaststroke and butterfly in full stroke? Remember, coaches, generally what happens, we come to the second point, efficient stroke. Your stroke efficiency survive with multiple repetition when you do long axis stroke. Once again, let me repeat. Your backstroke stroke mechanics will survive even if you're doing it for 1,000 times. Your freestyle stroke mechanics will survive even if you do 1,000 stroke non-stop. Of course, if you have good amount of aerobic capacity. But your butterfly stroke mechanics will fail or stroke efficiency will fail after you do certain amount of repetition. Your breaststroke stroke mechanics will fail after you do a certain amount of repetition. So to ensure that your stroke mechanics are efficient, to ensure that your distance per stroke is good, you guys need to ensure that you do more aerobic work or more long distance work on long axis. If you want to do some aerobic work on short axis, do part of it. For example, you can do single arm fly, or you can do butterfly kick, or you can do maybe one right, one left, one butterfly, or freestyle butterfly, a bit of mixture for longer duration. But if you do continuous butterfly for longer duration and assume that that's going to build your aerobic capacity, yes, it will build a bit of aerobic capacity, but it's going to thrash out your efficiency. Your efficiency level of butterfly is going to come down. So lower efficiency will make you slower despite of having heavy, big aerobic capacity base. So my suggestion for any 400 IM swimmers whom you're teaching is to first develop the aerobic capacity by doing a lot of long axis and short axis aerobic work. And there are certain 400 IM specific work which is also going to build aerobic capacity, which I'm going to show you in the upcoming slides. Now, the second thing is when we talk about 400 IM, you need to understand first the aerobic capacity, second, your efficiency, stroke efficiency, and how you define good stroke efficiency. Good stroke efficiency means a swimmer should be doing good 200 freestyle, good 200 backstroke, good 200 breaststroke, good 200 butterfly. If a swimmer is decent in all these four stroke in 200 meter, which is double than your 400 IM event in each individual stroke, you're going to be more efficient in 400 IM. Always remember that. So if you look at both Leon Marchand or Michael Phelps, they're actually damn good in their 200 freestyle, 200 breaststroke, 200 backstroke, 200 butterfly. You may not have seen Michael Phelps doing 200 breaststroke, but in training, I know I met Bob Bauman once long back, and he's pretty good in double of his racing distance, basically. So they also do a lot of 800. A lot of coaches in the world, in fact, they do a lot of 800 meter IM also in practice. so that if you're equipped with double of distance of your race, you're more comfortable in that. So that is something you guys need to know. Now, while doing this swimming, you need to ensure, I'm not asking if you're doing 800 IM, or not asking if you're doing 200 freestyle or 200 backstroke or 200 breaststroke, 200 fly separately. You're going to go all out. But what I'm asking you to do, make sure that your pacing is stable. Your pacing is stable. That means if you're doing 200 freestyle, your second 100 should be stronger than first 100. Try to do negative splitting in practice. If you're doing 200 breaststroke, your second 100 should be stronger than first 100. If you're doing 200 fly, your second 100 should be stronger than first 100. If you're doing 200 backstroke, your second 100 should be stronger than first 100. So whenever you practice IM or IM based practice or to build 400 IM, always remember in the first part of your distance should be slower than the second part of your distance. Ideally, even if you look at the top swimmers in the world, the strategy what they take while swimming, mental strategy, because time outcome and mental strategies are always different. Remember this. Now, for example, if I'm doing 100 butterfly, I'm putting 7 out of 10 effort in the first 50. I'm putting 10 out of 10 in the second 50, though my second 50 timing is going to be slower. Not because I'm not putting enough effort, just because the dive will have more impact. You're more fresh. You're touching with your hand. Turn will take some time. Second one is push and stuff like that. So that's a different strategy. But effort wise, whenever you do practice IM, always tell your swimmer to put more effort in the second part compared to first part. For example, if you're doing 4 into 100, you make sure that they do slow butterfly in the first 50, strong butterfly in the second 50, slow backstroke in the first 50, strong backstroke in the second 50, slow breaststroke in the first 50, strong breaststroke in the second 50, and so on. I hope I made myself clear. You try to find out the weakness of your swimmers always. And whatever weakness you see, try to incorporate drill to correct it. So it's always important for coaches who want to develop 400 IM swimmer to find the weak stroke and incorporate the drill. And that's the next point. Build endurance, speed, and strength. We already discussed, but incorporate drills are very important to correct or to improvise the weakness and make it to your strongest. If you have some strong stroke, ensure that drill is going to work to make it more efficient. Michael Phelps is super strong in butterfly, but he doesn't go all out in butterfly because with his strongest stroke, he want to be more efficient and save a lot of energy so that that extra energy can be used for the last 100, which is 56 in 100 freestyle. And that's very, very important. And we always need to remember that. Interval, dry land work, all these things are very important. We all know that these are part of it. But I'm sure during practice, you can understand. Now, practicing negative split, faster second half in training by doing sets like 4 into 100 IM at target pace with short rest. So, for example, I'm asking a swimmer to do 4 into 100 IM order, butterfly restart in the first week, say 130, backstroke restart, say at 130, breaststroke restart, say at 145, and that's all. And in the second week, the same swimmer will do butterfly restart, say at 125, backstroke restart at 125, breaststroke restart at 140, and freestyle restart. So it's not there, but they need to maintain better timing in that or same timing in that. If they can manage same timing or better timing, reducing the restart slowly and steadily, they're going to incorporate 400 IM in a stronger way. When we are training, when we are training 400 IM swimmer, try to stay more on aerobic threshold zone and high performance endurance zone. Try to stay more or try to set your training more towards aerobic threshold zone and high performance endurance zone because these are the zones which are much more contributor for your 400 IM. Of course, you need to do a bit of aerobic, anaerobic work like lactic production set that may be at the later part of your season or before your competition. But throughout your year, you mostly need to work on EN3, a bit of VO2 max, a bit of aerobic threshold, and of course, aerobic development is always part of it, right? So that's how you need to work. I think that's very important. Now, coming back to some of the training set, and I think that's very important because all the coaches they might need to know. Okay, I understood all the energy zone, I understood the philosophy, but what is the main factor to what are the training set we can do to make our 400 IM swimmer better than what they are? Build your aerobic capacity, you can do long axis continuous swimming for longer duration. You can do 10 400, 6 600, stuff like that, or maybe 3 800 descending with negative split, stuff like that in freestyle. But I have also told you that sometime you also need to do some IM based work. So I've given you two examples of IM based work, which is more like your aerobic threshold to a little higher EN3 zone. So EN2, EN3 zone, it's more like that. And I think that's going to be very, very helpful for your swimmers. So one of the set, what you can do is like this. You can do 3 into 400 IM at 6 minutes. The restart is just a wake. That's for our swimmers, but you can always change the restart based on the need of your swimmers. Then 600 freestyle cruise. I use the cruise word. That means same stroke rate. The stroke rate should not vary in the 600. So when you do 400 IM, you need to build up at every stroke. At every 100, you need to be negative splits. I hope you know what is negative split. If you don't know, let me tell you. If I'm swimming 100-meter freestyle at 1 minute 10 seconds, my average is 35 seconds. If I'm swimming at negative split, my first 50, if it is 36, second 50 has to be 34. That's called negative splits. I hope that is clear. So negative split once again, if I'm swimming 100 freestyle at 1 minute 10 seconds, if I go slower in first 50 and my timing in second 50 is stronger, that is called negative split. For example, if I go at 37 seconds and can come back at 33 seconds, my total timing is 110, that's negative split. If I go at 35 seconds and come back at 35 seconds, I call it even pacing, EVEN, even pacing. If I go at 34 seconds and I come back at 36 seconds, that's not negative split. That's not even pacing. That's positive swimming. Okay. So you always try to do negative split in this kind of practice. In every stroke, when you do 400 IM, and from one stroke to another stroke, you build your effort. Build your effort means, in case I'm doing 400 IM, in the first 100 of butterfly, if I'm putting, say, 5 out of 10 effort, backstroke, I need to put 6 out of 10 effort, breaststroke, I need to put 7 out of 10 effort, freestyle, I need to put 8 out of 10 effort. Is that clear? Okay, so the set goes like this. You can do 3 into 400 IM, change at 100, then 600 freestyle, cruise at same stroke rate. Every 100 should have equal timing. Your timing should not go up or down, same timing in all the 100. So that's even pacing for freestyle. Then 2 into 400 IM, again, build up at every stroke, negative split per stroke. And then again, 600-meter freestyle cruise. And then 1 into 400 IM, again, same thing. If you look at it, the restart of every 400 IM in every step is going to get tough. Okay, you're not going all out, but your restart is getting challenging. You're getting less rest, so you're pushing yourself a little more, and it's going to really help you to build up your aerobic capacity. I think it's a good set. You can try for your swimmers. It's really going to help. It's going to be very specific. So we generally say there are 3 phases of training generally: general phase, specific phase, and competitive phase. So these are the things you can use during your specific phase of training. And of course, competitive phase, you can repeat these sets to make it more challenging. The other example I've shown is 400 IM at 6 minutes and then 12 into 50 fly short rest interval. Now, different swimmer have different speed in different strokes, right? Some swimmer may be very good in butterfly, some swimmer may be very good in backstroke. So that's why I haven't written any rest interval. They should take short rest interval and see what is the minimum short rest interval they can take. For example, your butterfly boy can maintain an average of say 32 seconds. So the short rest interval for him can be 40 to 45 seconds. So, limited rest, 10 to 15-second rest, and they should start max 15, between 8 to 15-second rest, not more than that. So 12 into 50 fly at short rest interval. Then again 400 IM at 6. Again 6 need to be comfortable. Here you need to swim at steady pace. So in this 400 IM you don't need to build up. You just need to do 400 IM at a steady pace. Unlike the previous one, here you need to maintain steady pace. And then 6 into 100 backstroke challenge your restart. What is the short rest interval you can do? Some swimmer may do a 125 restart interval. Some swimmer may do a 135 rest interval. Some swimmer may do a 1 minute 40-second rest interval per 100. It depends on the swimmer, but they should be challenging themselves. So any short race, they are going to challenge. 400 IM flat, they should be comfortable. No build up business, no other business, just normal steady 400 IM. Then they need to do 3 into 200 breaststroke. If you look at it, I haven't given straight breaststroke. I'm not a very strong believer that if I'm doing wrong breaststroke for a very longer duration, I'm going to be better. Because generally, what happens, breaststroke and butterfly, especially breaststroke, is some stroke which needs a lot of strength, all right? Because it's a stroke with a lot of resistance. You're taking your hand inside the water, you're kicking, and also taking your leg back, which is creating double resistance. So in this kind of stroke, if you're doing full stroke on a constant basis for a very long span of time, it may reduce your natural body wave, which I might have seen that a lot of breaststrokers have fantastic body wave, which also creates some extra additional speed. You may lose those speeds. So I feel that's I mean, for me, I don't do a lot of that, right? Though we have produced other national champions in 200 breaststroke, but we don't do 200 breaststroke straight for long. We just try to mix pull, kick, and swim. But again, that has to be challenging. The rest interval need to be challenging. And then at the end, you need to do two into 300 freestyle with short rest interval. In the second 300, in the last 100, should go all out. So that's something, some example for aerobic capacity builder.
So next is aerobic power.
Yeah, and here comes the ball game. Now remember, always people say if I do a lot of VO2 max work, I'm going to improve my VO2 max work. No, scientifically, that's not the thing. VO2 max work is basically how much oxygen I can take during my working activity, right? Maximum amount of oxygen. Now, the contribution of VO2 max gets higher when you do VO2 max training. But to build oxygen intake capacity, you need to do low intensity work. And then the high intensity work on that will ensure your contribution from aerobic towards your swimming. So when you do VO2 max practice or when you do aerobic power practice or stuff like that, it's going to ensure that whatever VO2 max you have developed from your aerobic capacity, you're going to use it to make your race better, or you're going to contribute more from the aerobic side. So suppose you're doing the race and you're contributing 80% from aerobic side and 20% from anaerobic side, pretty good. If you're contributing, say, 75% from aerobic side and 30% from anaerobic side, you cannot trust your finish because you might drain out your energy very soon, right? So you need to ensure that your contribution from aerobic side is higher so that you have energy left. Otherwise, anaerobic will get the lactic and will stop, or will put an elephant on your body, or you'll get the lactic on your body. We call it an elephant on your body. So anyway, giving a set. So 5 into 100 freestyle at anaerobic threshold speed. Now, what is anaerobic threshold? How are we going to determine that? Very easy, guys. CS or anaerobic threshold pace. You can go online. You can put your best timing for 100 and 200, and that's going to give you a chart. What is your anaerobic threshold pace? There are a lot of websites in the internet where if you put your 100 timing and 200 timing, personal best of 100 and 200, they'll give you the threshold timing or CS timing or critical speed timing or anaerobic threshold timing. So these timings you're going to get from the net. You just need to know your swimmer's personal best for 100 and 200 meters. We can discuss that today, but no point of discussing because that's going to be a waste of our time. And we also have next schedule coming up. So 80 pace you need to find out for your swimmers for freestyle, and then do 5 into 100 freestyle at anaerobic threshold pace. I have written 130 for my swimmers. Your swimmers can go 140 or 145 depending on the capacity. Then you can do 5 into 50 IM order. IM order descending to max. Means first was moderate, second one moderate fast, third one moderate faster, fourth one fast, and fifth one strong. And then of course easy. So fifth one has to be really, really strong. If some coach want, Maybe on the fifth one, they can give 30-second extra rest, ask the swimmer to come out, dive, and do a solid 50, and you take the time. So that can be done also. So this is a good work. In the first round, your 550s are going to be all butterfly, 5 into 100 always freestyle. In the second round, your 5 into 50 can be backstroke. In the third round, your 5 into 50 can be breaststroke. In the fourth round, your 5 into 50 can be freestyle. What coaches need to check that after doing 5 into, you're doing 3 round, the 3 round, third round is going to be 5 into 50 breaststroke. Coaches need to check that swimmers should achieve the aerobic threshold, anaerobic threshold timing for 5 into 100, and then they should opt for this descending butterfly or descending backstroke or descending breaststroke, and you will get good outcome of that. After every round, I've written 50 easy. If you feel that your swimmers need more rest, you can give them a bit more rest. But too much rest is not very good in this kind of aerobic power development. Maybe good for lactic production set, but not for this kind of sets. A typical set can be 10 into 200 frame. If you don't know what is frame is you replace butterfly with freestyle. So if you're doing 200, first 50 freestyle, second 50 backstroke, third 50 breaststroke, fourth 50 freestyle again. So 10 to 100 frame, we hold the best average with a heart rate of 27 to 28 per 10 seconds. To ensure that your heart rate should not go above 28 or should not go under 27, you need to swim at a higher speed and maintain that speed for 10 repetition. If you can do that, it's going to be wonderful for your swimmers. The restart, I have written at 3:30. Again, restart, you can always vary based on your swimmers. All right. But they need to push themselves up. At the end of this set, they should feel dizzy, a bit of vomitish. They're very tired. You've done the set. If they don't feel that in aerobic power set, you haven't done the set properly. A bit of dizzy, a bit of tired, a lot of fatigue, and you see they're like craving for oxygen, you have achieved the set. Another set can be 850s, IM order at 1 minute, best effort, 2 into 50, easy, 4 rounds. Means first round fly, second round back, third round breast, fourth round freestyle. All 850s are going to be best effort. At 1 minute restart, and of course 2 into 50 easy. Again, here in this kind of set, when you're developing aerobic power and not encouraging too much of recovery, giving them short recovery, but they should mentally feel good that yes, I'm getting into recovery zone. 30 into 100 freestyle at heart rate set, holding aerobic threshold timing is damn good. You can always do that set. I also do 10 to 100s or maybe 12 150s, stuff like that in freestyle or backstroke to build the aerobic power, where you need to maintain the best average. We need to make sure that they hold a good timing for all repetitions. So that's pretty good for aerobic power. I hope these few things, these two important things, will help you to build your 400 iron. So one of the example I've given, you can do that. I think I use it for my swimmers. I think it's very helpful. You can do 4 into 200 IM order, attack the third 50 with a solid effort. So for example, 200 butterfly. We have discussed about it before that, your 200 of your each stroke, if it is efficient. So suppose I'm doing 200 butterfly, where third 50 of butterfly need to be solid. Okay. And with kind of a short rest. So for example, for butterfly, I'm restarting at 3 minutes. The next one, it is backstroke, where I'm starting at 3 minutes, where third 50 need to be solid and maintain that solidness till the last 50. And then I do breaststroke, where my maybe at 3 minute 20-second restart. So at 20-second for breaststroke lab. Again, my third 50 should be solid, and then 450 can hold that solidness. And then I end up with freestyle. So we do that. You build that tempo in your body is set to go. Then it's a challenging set. You have to do 2 into 100 IM fast swimming, where rest interval is 20 seconds. Here, there's no restart. You can rest for 20 seconds. Your IM timing, in 100 IM timing, should be your 400 timing by 4. Means if your 400 timing is 6 minutes, personal best, then your IMing timing should be 1 minute 30 seconds or better. It cannot be slower than that. All right. So your body is loaded. It's all set. It's all set to deliver. Then you give a 30-second rest. Swimmer come up, be on the starting block, and give you 100% in 400 IM, check the time. Let's see how good you are, what percentage of timing you have clocked from your personal best. Give them 30-second rest. And this is important. And this is why Michael Phelps does a fantastic job in the last 50. Even if you have given your best, do you still have some leftover energy? So quickly put your shocks on. Do 825 if you can do kicking or swimming both, or only kicking with shocks. Do solid 825 sprint kick. Overload your muscles. You can do one round. After every round, you can do 500-600 meter easy. If you want to do one round, it's fine. If you want to do two round, you can do two round, but not more than two round in this kind of sense. Remember, after that solid 400 iron, this 825 is basically booster for their mind that yes, despite of doing a solid IM, I still have some leftover energy. And this leftover energy is going to count when there's a close race in 400 IM against your swimmer's opponent. They can easily beat them because mentally they're getting stronger, that even after doing a solid 400 IM, they can still swim faster. Okay, this is an example for me. You can take a bit of screenshot of that, how you're going to prepare the swimmers. I'm going to come to sprint right after this. What I do, not necessarily you're going to do the same thing. I'll start with IM or distance swimmer. So 400 IM generally comes into distance group or IM group, depending on the swimmer. So if a swimmer is more towards 200 IM, I put them in IM group. If swimmers come more towards 400 IM and 1500 freestyle, stuff like that, I put them in distance group. So I'll start with that distance and IM work. Monday, I generally do aerobic descending work. For IM swimmer, I do power aerobic work with a bit of fins and paddle work or stuff like that. Aerobic work, but with a bit of load in the hand and leg. We do a bit of dry land. All the red markers are dry land. We do outdoor power circuit. In the evening, we do heart rate set like 30 into 100, or for IM swimmer, you can do 10 to 100 frame. It's more like aerobic power. You can do heart rate set or aerobic threshold set in the evening on Monday. Recovery set, kick, pull, swim, IM mixture, a bit of ATP-CP work can be done on Tuesday morning. I generally do a bit of running steps, high-speed cord, stuff like that, dry land on Tuesday morning. So I just want to show you what I do. We do a bit of VO2 max work for distance and IM swimmers, where for sprinters, we are just going to come back after this. We do a bit of aerobic cruise or high aerobic overload work. You can do that for your swimmers in long axis stroke, not on short axis stroke on Wednesday. Before we do so, we do a bit of partnership stretching because extra bit of lactic, what you're going to generate on Tuesday evening, that can be removed. We do a bit of speed development work, very much like the last set, what you might have seen today. We do a bit of speed development work on Thursday, do a bit of HIIT before we start the set, dry land, high intensity interval training. Same for them, or sometimes we do a bit of US RPT, maybe 30-25s, or maybe 8-25s in IM order, stuff like that, and then a bit of rest, 40-second restart. Something like that we do on Thursday in short course pool. Thursday evening is very challenging. We do VO2 max or lactic production and removal, which we have discussed in our last seminar. What is lactic production and removal or speed endurance, stuff like that. You can do on Thursday evening. A lot anaerobic threshold work if you're a distance come 400 IM base swimmer. Some explosive throw with medicine ball can be always good before the training starts. It's good for you guys. Friday morning, generally we do technique and recovery set. We try to do a bit of gym on Friday, which is important for swimmers, or some swimmers also do a bit of gym on, IM swimmers do a bit of gym on Wednesday, where distance-based swimmer do a bit of cycle or other aerobic outcome practice in dry land on Wednesday. So it depends on your nature. If you're 200 to 400, then you can be in IM. If you're 400 to 800 freestyle, stuff like that, you can be in distance. Friday afternoon, we do a bit of aerobic short rest work. And for IM swimmers, you do IM technique work and aerobic work, more like aerobic capacity builder. And then based on the season, need of the week, what you need on that particular week, you can do it on Saturday. So Saturday you can keep a particular set which you think is going to be the need of the week that you can do. We do a bit of ice bath on Saturday. You want to do that, you can do that for your swimmers. It's just an example what I feel I do for our swimmers.